Okay. Hey guys, so sorry about not having the sound working really well in the last video. But just going over what we had, it was the controller script. Go over it again. It's the bot handler class, basically handling how the bot is going to connect back. The IP addresses of the server, of the client. We have the run function where basically the bot just continues a infinite loop or thread, listening for commands and listening for new connections. Here we have the slave from the target IP address and the target port as connected with its bot ID. We have the client list of bot names, just cycling through addresses. Here we have while the connection is true or connected, it receives commands. The Q will be the command, so it will get the commands from self being server, print received command, whatever the command is for the IP. And then it tries to just enter a new line. This is a new line. Basically, that is the equivalent of enter. So whatever command it is just received, it will then basically, like in a command window or a terminal, it will enter in order to run it. We have the client receiving commands encoded in UTF-8. It's not like it's intense code encoding, but it is just a demo for beginners. So the value will come through and we will have to decode it and print the received value. And exceptions or problems are obviously then printed out for us to see, and then the program would normally stop. In the case this doesn't happen, the bot commands are then threaded through. This is where the loop is not up at the top, sorry guys. Then it runs through, so basically while we are connected, it'll send a command of that. If the command is empty, it will just pass through and it will continue with the loop. If the command is for exiting, then obviously it will exit the connection. Otherwise, it will print out a little notification for us sending command, whatever the command is, to the bots that need to run it. Here we have the listener basically just binding itself to the server address, little notification telling you where it started, the IP and the port. This basically is while the server is alive, it must listen, and this handles multi-threading, so we can have multiple clients connect back. Here we have so if the server is started without 3 arguments or less than 3 arguments, then it will basically print out an error message for us telling us how we should be trying to execute this file. Okay, so I think that's a pretty fair I guess that's a pretty fair recap on what I did last time. But yeah, so let us get on it. So from here we will be creating the client file. So we will make a new file and call it client.cpp because it is a C++. Okay, so for those who are unaware, let me just get some commentary going. So these are the main headers for the client. So we will, okay, so if you are going to be building this on a Linux system, the Windows payload, the client, then there's a few things you're gonna have to do. You'll need to install BCPKG, which you can get from GitHub. It's pretty simple. You just clone it into a directory. Let me show you here. So clone it into the BCPKG directory. You just run bootstrap.sh. It does its thing. And then you can essentially go to BC package, search for whatever we need. So we need WinSock, and here it is, WinSock 2. So then we go then we go BC to install WinSock 2. It'll install for us, and then sorted. So we get our files installed. You are going to want to install it into the directory as well, because it is a Windows file. You are going to want to configure the C++ properties, especially because we are doing multiple configurations. But I will run you through that. You guys can copy this from me when we are done. These are the Windows client configurations that we'll use to build the payload. Then we inside this directory to make a new file and call it settings JSON. This is because we are going to go C++ error squiggles disabled, just so that we'll stop getting these issues on the Linux system. We can save that. And then the build tasks is the last code here before we can continue building. Tasks.json, and now this is going to be our build code to actually build our files. It is a shell application, because there are no GUIs, it just runs from a terminal or a shell. The command will be the command we use to build it. I will show you here. Then we are going to comment out this command, but we are still going to add it in. Okay, so let me explain here. If you're building on Windows, you'll use the G++. So and this So now we need to set the compilation argument. So this will be for our compilation. These only apply when holding on a Windows system, but again I will show you that. So standard C++ 11. I'm just going to copy it in this time because it's essentially the same as the first one. So there we go. Now we have our two build tasks that we will use when compiling our payloads. Finally, we just need to end this off with the group. So tasks.json is our build tasks. Client version 1 is just a callback client, while client version 2 is a command client. So we will only be looking at putting commands into the client in the next part. So back to this. We'll finish adding in our headers. So this, just for some reference, is used for the sockets connection. This for reference is when API calls or includes TCP or IP sockets, and finally then we can add our pragma statements. Don't stress if you're not entirely sure about this. Again, it's more for just the development, headers and stuff we can take a deeper look into later. We just need to define defaults. Buffer length of 1024. If you remember, we have our encoding through with that buffer, so it's very important to set that, otherwise our commands won't fall back correctly and we will have issues. So this is the debug header, which in a release version we would not include, but I'll put it here for reference. So we'll start with this is gonna be a lot more complicated for a lot of you who do not have any prior experience with C++. Again, it's just so you guys sort of see and then can play around with the code and start to, I guess, work in your own space and time. So if it's 32, it must provide integer for such execution. No. So this is basically saying when it executes something, it will hide the window or hide the process. It will also return the value as an integer, which is what the int is for here. We can then considering that the return value, if there was an error, so basically this says if we have an error, it prints us a message saying error, executing a command, it's a new line for us, and it will continue. We then have the else statement, return card, return value, and it will just print a new line for us, executing whatever we asked it to. We can set another command. Let's set a who am I command, which basically sorry guys, this exec was the file execute command. This is a who am I command, sorry. Value and buffer length, close that off. We can set a host name command, so if you guys are seeing pattern starting to emerge. That's good. It means you are picking this up. So I'm gonna call it the wrappers that our commands are wrapped in are fairly the same. You know, building blocks, and it's just the insides that really differ in terms of what we want them to do. So turn bar and properly. Current directory will be DOD, as in print working directory command, as I would hope you all know. Otherwise, then I think we are way too far ahead for you, and you should probably go somewhere else. No point. So our print working directory will be in the second version along with the reverse shell. And yeah, so anyway, maybe we will do less videos. Let us see. So PWD is a bit different, so it's the temp variable max path. So we want to get the temporary maximum path, which will allow us to get the current directory max path. Straight up back to us. Well, bar. Then we have our commercial. Where it will handle sending the commands over. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to cut it for now, guys. It's getting a bit long, and I did do the first installment earlier. But for now, we have our fully coded controller. We have the commands put into the client. We have set our build tasks for when we need to build our client. And yeah, so that's the end of part 2, guys. I hope this is something that's interesting to you. I hope you've been enjoying, and I will see you guys probably in part 3. This is me, Silent, and I'm out.